The Monetary Policy Committee, scheduled to meet from 6 to 8 February, is expected to change the monetary policy stance to neutral while maintaining the status quo with regard to interest rates. During the December policy review, Jayant Verma was the sole MPC member to recommend a neutral stance. However, most market participants believe it is now the right time for the Reserve Bank of India to change its stance from withdrawal of accommodation to neutral, considering the sustained liquidity pressure in the banking system. The MPC has held the repo rate steady at 6.5% for the past 5 MPC meetings. The repo rate was raised by 250 basis points between May 2022 and February 2023 to battle high inflation. Since April 2022, it has maintained its stance of withdrawal of accommodation to bring retail inflation back to its 4% target. Bank of Baroda's Madan Sabnis believes that the central bank may maintain the status quo on both the policy rate and stance in the upcoming policy review as well.
No, I don't think the RBI would be in a position to change its stance. So I think the status quo kind of position is something which we could expect for at least the next two policies. And probably as we get into fiscal 25, that's a time when this kind of an issue could be on the discussion table.
Market participants think that the central bank is adopting an accommodative approach towards liquidity, as the RBI has been conducting continuous variable rate repo or VRR auctions to ease liquidity conditions, thereby making the case for a change of stance to neutral. The central bank conducted 5 VRR auctions in January to infuse liquidity worth 7.5 trillion rupees. Liquidity deficit in the banking system widened to a 14-year high of 3.5 trillion rupees on 24th January, as compared with a deficit of 1.3 trillion rupees in the beginning of the month. Economists at ICICI Securities Primary Dealership have indicated that the central bank may change its stance to neutral based on inflation outlook, global financial conditions, liquidity situation, and real policy rates. However, rating agencies like India Ratings and Research believe that it could be difficult for the MPC to move to a neutral stance at this time, because retail inflation, as per the RBI's projection, will come down to 4% only in the second quarter of financial year 2025. India's retail inflation based on Consumer Price Index rose to a 4-month high of 5.69% in December from 5.55% in November. In addition, the repo rate hikes of the past are still working their way through the economy, and GDP growth, despite monetary policy tightening, is on track. Bank of Baroda's Madan Sabnis echoes the same thought.
If I go back to two policies back, that is not the last one, but the one prior to that, I think the RBI had mentioned when they were talking about the stance being unchanged, that it does believe that notwithstanding the fact that the RBI has increased the repo rate by 250 basis points, it has not seen the transmission fully taking place. So this actually gives a reason for one to believe that unless the transmission of the 250 basis points goes through in terms of the lending rates as well as the deposit rates, only then will the RBI be convinced to change the stance. In fact, there has been variation between public and private sector banks. Public sector banks have been more forthcoming, the transmission has been faster, but definitely it has not been anywhere close to the 250 basis point. So I think that's the reason why the RBI will wait for some more time and before it changes its stance.
In an interview with the Business Channel earlier this month, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das had said that any premature pivot from the current withdrawal of accommodation stance could prove costly for the Indian economy. While most market participants expect a strong response from the RBI to tackle the tight liquidity scenario, a shift in stance by the RBI may be premature in February. The central bank, however, remains committed to bring down inflation to 4% and not just within the 2 to 6% tolerance band.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
I am the blue of the limitless sky. I am the inspiration that lets success soar high. I will achieve, I will fly high. I am the I in SBI.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.